Every NBA season brings highlights, buzzer beaters, and breathtaking performances. But every season also brings something else, something darker. Moments when emotions explode, when tempers boil, when rivalries turn into battles, and when the beautiful game becomes a war zone. The 2025 NBA season was no exception. In fact, it was one of the most heated seasons the league has seen in a decade. Tonight, we dive deep into the fights, confrontations, dirty plays, near brawls, ejections, and intense rivalries that defined the 2025 NBA landscape. This is Heated Moments and Dirty Plays of the 2025 season. Our journey begins in Los Angeles, where the Lakers opened the season with more expectations than answers. Austin Reeves stepped into a bigger role, Anthony Davis carried the defensive anchor, and LeBron James, defying age once again, pushed the team with the precision of a veteran king. But pressure creates fire. In a November matchup against the Suns, tensions erupted. Kevin Durant isolated on the wing, facing Reeves, a hard bump, a foul, a stare, and then a shove. Bradley Beal rushed in, Davis stepped forward, refs scrambled, and the crowd roared. It wasn't a fight, but it was the beginning of a rivalry that would explode again later in the season. Meanwhile, up north in Minnesota, the Timberwolves were building a monster defense. Rudy Gobert patrolled the paint, Jaden McDaniels locked down the perimeter, Anthony Edwards led with swagger and an attitude that said, "You can't stop me." In a heated February game against the Warriors, Edwards took that attitude a step too far. After a tough and one against Klay Thompson, Edwards flexed over him, hovering above his face. Draymond Green reacted instantly, shoulder-checking Edwards on the next possession. Edwards didn't back down. McDaniels jumped in. Curry yelled at the refs. Coaches rushed the floor. Technical fouls flew like confetti. The league issued warnings, but inside players' minds, the message was clear. The Timberwolves were no longer just a young team. They were a threat. But the Wolves weren't the only rising force. The Oklahoma City Thunder, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and rookie phenom Kylan Rivers, were becoming the NBA's most exciting team. And with youth comes intensity. In a nationally televised game against the Grizzlies, Shai drove to the rim late in the third quarter, only to be met by an aggressive hip check from Marcus Smart. Shai hit the floor hard. Thunder assistant coaches rushed toward the baseline. Chet Holmgren exchanged words with Memphis's front line. Smart clapped sarcastically towards OKC's bench. Fans booed. Refs reviewed the play for a flagrant, double technicals, and the tension lingered for the rest of the game. But nothing, absolutely nothing, matched the chaos happening in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference, armed with the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, were on a mission. Milwaukee, led by Giannis and Damian Lillard, stood in their path. Two teams built to destroy each other. Two teams who hated each other's success. In January, they met in a heavyweight battle. Midway through the third, Giannis drove hard into the paint, colliding shoulder first into Al Horford. Horford flew flying. Jaylen Brown jumped in. Giannis stared down the Celtics bench. Tatum stepped forward with a rare flash of anger. For a moment, the entire arena froze. It felt like one breath away from the malice at the palace. Refs intervened, double technicals, fans screaming at the top of their lungs. These weren't just heated plays, these were messages. Down in Miami, heat culture lived up to its name. Jimmy Butler, never one to shy away from confrontation, delivered one of the season's most intense moments. Late in a close game against the Knicks, Butler was fouled hard by Julius Randle on a fast break. Butler bounced up instantly, walking straight at Randle, face to face, refusing to blink.
Bam Adebayo stepped in. Knicks teammates surrounded Randall. Words were exchanged, loud enough for courtside mics to catch. "I'm not going anywhere. You don't scare me." It was old-school NBA energy, the kind fans secretly love. But New York had its own fire. Jalen Brunson, now the franchise cornerstone, played with chip-on-shoulder intensity. In a March showdown versus the 76ers, Brunson drove into the lane, only to be met with a brutal forearm from Embiid. Brunson went down hard. Knicks players charged toward Embiid. Crowd chaos, security on the floor. Tensions peaked. Embiid stepped back and simply smiled. The league fined him heavily the next day. The 76ers had another fiery storyline. Cam Payne and Tyrese Maxey exchanged words in practice earlier in the year, and that tension spilled onto the court during a tight game versus Cleveland. A minor shove escalated into a stare-down. Maxey, normally calm, surprised everyone by shoving back. The league took notice. This wasn't the process Sixers anymore. This was a new, hungry team. But the crown for the dirtiest play of the season came, surprisingly, from a team known for discipline, the Denver Nuggets. Late in a heated battle against the Pelicans, Jamal Murray drove to the basket on C.J. McCollum. Jonas Valanciunas rotated late, swinging his arm and catching Murray across the neck. Murray fell instantly. The Nuggets bench erupted. Aaron Gordon shoved Valanciunas. Jokic stepped forward with a terrifying calm, the kind that makes arenas go silent. Refs upgraded it to a flagrant 2. Valanciunas was ejected. McCollum apologized to Murray after the game, but the tension never fully evaporated. And yet, none of these moments matched the season's most shocking confrontation. It happened in Dallas. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, the league's most skilled backcourt, were hosting the Clippers. Late in the fourth, Paul George attempted a step-back 3. Derrick Jones Jr. contested, and his foot slid under Paul George's landing space. George collapsed instantly. Chaos erupted. Kawhi Leonard confronted the refs. Westbrook got into Luka's face. Kyrie shoved Harden away from the crowd. Security stormed the floor. The league reviewed the moment for days. Debates filled sports media. Was it intentional? Was it careless? Or was it simply the heat of competition? Through the entire season, one thing became clear. The NBA in 2025 wasn't just skill and finesse. It was emotion. It was rivalry. It was raw. Players weren't afraid to show their fire. Teams weren't afraid to stand their ground. And fans weren't afraid to enjoy every second of the chaos. Because the truth is simple. Heated moments remind us that basketball is human, that competition is personal, that greatness demands passion, and that sometimes anger creates the moments we never forget. From shoves to stare-downs, from technicals to flagrants, from near fights to unforgettable confrontations, the 2025 NBA season delivered intensity like never before. And as long as the league is filled with pride, pressure, and players refusing to back down, heated moments will live forever. This was the story of the heated moments and dirty plays of the 2025 season. And the fire, it's only getting stronger.